In this video, I'm going to complete the exercises at the end of notebook number 2. So the first thing we'll do here is read in the movie data set and note that the title has been placed in the index. Okay, so exercise 1. Select columns actor 1, 2, and 3 for the movies Home Alone and Top Gun. We need to use the LOC index. What we can do here is just use a list for the rows and for the columns actually. So calls will be actor 1, 2, and 3 like that. And then we just take movie and use LOC, pass in rows, comma, calls, and we should get exactly what we want. So it'll be a much smaller data frame than our original, just selecting 2 rows and 3 columns. All right, exercise 2, select columns actor 1, 2, and 3 for all of the movies beginning at Home Alone and ending at Top Gun. So it's going to look pretty similar. I'm just going to copy and paste this. The columns are the same. The rows need to be a slice from Home Alone to Top Gun. Now, one thing you cannot do in Python, this is illegal. You cannot, this is incorrect syntax. You cannot assign a slice like this using slice notation. Slice notation is only viable inside of these square brackets. So what we'll do here is actually the wrong one. So we replaced our rows with slice notation, and there we go. So that's the answer I'm looking for. All right, so number 3, select just the director name column for the movies Home Alone and Top Gun. All right, so just the director name. So let's just go ahead and write this out without assigning any variables. Home Alone and Top Gun. And then we just want the director name, so we'll just go straight to a label, and we don't need a list over here. And it's not DF, it is movie. All right, so there we go. We get returned a series. All right, it says repeat exercise 3, but return a data frame. All right, so to return a data frame, we need to place the label and into a list. So we create a 1-item list, and that'll make it a data frame. Exercise 5, select all columns for the movie The Dark Knight Rises. So here we're just going to select all the columns. We're selecting a single movie like this, and it's unnecessary to put the colon, but that's how you can select it. So there we go, The Dark Knight Rises, like that. Again, we don't need the colon. I like to use it just because it reinforces the fact that LOC selects simultaneously rows and columns. Okay, so we're selecting this particular row, The Dark Knight Rises. All right, repeat exercise 6 or 5, but return a data frame. All right, so we'll do the same trick. We'll put this into a list like this, and that'll return as a data frame. Makes it much easier to read and keeps it in the same orientation. Exercise 7, select all columns for the movies Tangled and Avatar. Okay, so we want movie.loc and say Tangled and Avatar like that. Those are the row selection. And the column selection just says select all of them. Again, we don't need to put the colon, but there we go. We use a list for our selection in the rows and just a empty slice for the columns. What year was Tangled and Avatar made, and what was their IMDb score? Well, we can just look over here, but we can also just select those particular columns, so we can get the year column right there and their IMDb score, which is over here in this last column, like that. So we need just the information that we need by selecting it like this. All right, so what is the data type of the year column? All right, well, we're going to use the dtypes attribute, and we see that it is a float. So there we go. Exercise 10, use a single method to output the data type and number of non-missing values of year. So we learned about this previously. There's an info method, and here's the year. We can see that there are 48 and 10 non-missing values. And since there are 4,916 values, we know that there are some that are in fact missing. All right, exercise 11. Select every 300th movie between Tangled and Forrest Gump. So why doesn't Forrest Gump appear in the results? Okay, so we do movie.loc, and we'll say Tangled all the way to Forrest Gump, like this. And this is not every 300th just yet, but I just want to show that here is Forrest Gump in the result. It is inclusive, but now to do every 300th movie, and just to say we select all of the columns like that, we can put a comma and then a colon. When we do this, we see that Forrest Gump doesn't appear in the result, even though I said that slice notation is inclusive of the last one. Well, here it's just not a multiple of 300, and that's the reason. So it's not going to be inclusive if it's not an even multiple of that. All right, so that does it for the exercises.